Hello everyone, I am Farhan and in this video I'll be showing you how to use Vox Cleaner V2. For those who don't know, Vox Cleaner is a single-click voxel model cleaner add-on for Blender that I made. This is its second version and its previous version was launched almost a year ago. The previous version received a ton of love for its usability. This version is way more powerful compared to the previous one, as we'll see very soon, so hang on tight. I'll be showing you how to export Magica voxel models, how to install and use my add-on in Blender 3.3, how to clean models and enable emission on them, how to export models in a single click, and I'll also be showing you some critical time-saving features like batch clean and batch exports. Let's go. Here I am in Magica voxel and these cute little bots are the models I wish to clean. In the export panel, Magica voxel provides three primary export options. There's OBJ, PLY and matching cubes, that is MC. Unlike the previous version of Vox Cleaner, this version does not support matching cubes due to the reason that they don't have proper voxel geometry. For demonstration purposes, I'll export these same three models in OBJ and PLY both. I'll go with OBJ first. I'll select a destination folder. I'll make a separate folder for OBJ. And save. I'll do the same with PLY. Save. Here are our models. Notice we have so many files for OBJ objects. We have all of these ready. And let's take a look at the PLY ones. We have these ready as well. Notice how there are only 3 files for the PLY. Here I am in a fresh new Blender scene and let's import the exported models from Magica voxel. Go File, Import and PLY. I'll just select all the models that we exported and import. All the models are here. I'll just move these apart and I'll do the same with the OBJ models. Import, OBJ. And apparently OBJ models need to be imported individually. Since all the models are here, I'll move these apart as well. And I'll add a small text denoting the file format of all of these models. Let me do that real quick. With that out of the way, let's start cleaning the model. But before that, we'll have to install the add-on. Go Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and if you have the previous version of the add-on enabled, you'll have to remove that by selecting the add-on and remove. Okay, this will uninstall the add-on. Now, to install the new version, go Install, locate the py file that you got. I have mine stored here. Select it and select Install Add-on. The add-on is installed, you just need to enable it now. Enable and done. Now, if you press N, let me just enable the screencast keys here. If you press N, you'll see that the add-on is installed and is working. Now, if I go into the material view, you'll see that there's a slight problem. There is no color visible on the PLY meshes. The reason for this is PLY models store color data in a different format called vertex colors. To get the colors running on these models, simply select all the models, press N to pop out the N bar, and in the add-on section, just select Apply Vertex Colors. This will apply all the vertex colors on the model as a material and this data is now usable. Now, we can start cleaning the model. It's pretty easy to clean a model using Vox Cleaner. But before, let me show you the voxel model geometry on this model. I'll go to the wireframe mode here and you can see that the models are actually pretty dense. Even the OBJ ones have pretty cursed geometry. Now, I'll go into the material view again and I'll simply select the model and press Clean Model. The model is cleaned and it also gives us its vertex reduction in percentage. Pretty cool. I'll clean this model as well. Notice that all of these cleanings are in real time and also that Vox Cleaner V2 is almost 8 times faster than the version 1. You're welcome. Vox Cleaner V2 comes in 2 variants, a free and a pro. The free one's great for hobbyists and small voxel artists, whereas the pro one's recommended for veteran voxel artists and studios. A pro feature I have on the add-on is emission support. If I enable this checkbox, it gives me a color picker. Now, since I want all the green areas on my model to glow, I'll simply select the green color here. And now if I press clean, my models will have glow. Quick tip, if you don't see the glow or the bloom going on, simply switch the engine to EV and make sure that the bloom checkbox is enabled. I'll switch it back to cycles. In a similar way, I can just select the other models as well. Clean model, and clean model. All of these real time, super fast, love it. Let's just check out their model geometries. I'll go into wireframe view here. Super clean. Couldn't have been cleaner. Okay, some of you probably have noticed that the resolution picker sliders are not there anymore, unlike the previous version. That's because Vox Cleaner V2 does a lot of the analysis on the model and calculates the perfect resolution required. If I go into the UV editing tab, I can see that this model that we cleaned, the latest, has its texture here, and if I press N, I can see that the image generated is 63 by 63. If I go into the N panel again, and if I expand the settings dialog box, I can see, I'll just expand this a little bit, and I can see in the image properties in the resolutions area, by default it's set to the minimum size, which means it just creates an image of the calculated size. But in case if I want an image to be in the values 8 by 8 or 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 and so on, I can totally do that by selecting the same in the dropdown. I call it as the standard set. There is another option having the values 8 by 8, 16 by 16, 24 by 24 and 32 by 32, and I like to call this one as the intermediate set. For those of my friends who want to have a little more control over the cleaning procedure, I have two-step clean for you. If you've noticed, Vox Cleaner always creates a backup of the model. You can disable this by going into the settings panel, preferences, and create model backup. I'll select the model backup, I'll enable it first, and I'll move it apart. As you can see, the geometry is pretty bad. Okay, I'll set the resolution set to standard, and I'll press prepare for bake. Notice that the two-step clean now has a way better UI, and it shows the target, that is the current object, and the source, which is the backup from which the data and all of the stuff that will be derived. The geometry is already clean, but the textures are not quite there yet. I'll go into the UV editing tab to see, and I can see a lot of the space is wasted, but it has confined to our resolution set request for being 128 by 128. I'll press tab again, and I'll press bake. This bakes my texture, and let's just say I want to edit my UVs. I'll press tab, and let's say I want this part of the UV to be here. Notice that there's snapping enabled, and this part of the UV to be here, and maybe even this. If I go ahead and check out the model is actually pretty screwed. The UVs are meshed up, but I still have an option to bake it again. So I'll press bake again, and the UVs are done again. I can do this change infinitely, and once I am satisfied, I can simply press the finish cleaning button to clean the palette and have a clean model ready. Enjoy! Here I have a new scene with a new model setup. I'll clean the model real quick. And in order to export the model, I'll simply expand the export panel. I'll just make a little room, and I'll add an export destination. For this one, I'll just select this, and I'll create a new folder named Blender Exports. I'll select this folder and press accept. The location is set, and I can just select the model and press OBJ to export the OBJ. As you can see, the OBJ has been exported. I'll simply open the folder from here, and it opens in my directory, and as you can see, the textures have been exported as well with the model. I'll just open the model, and you can see the model has textures as well. And if you notice the textures are blurred, that is because the textures are really small and they need to be configured before using, which unfortunately is not an option in this piece of software. It is usually there in specialized software like Blender, Unity, or Unreal, etc. I'll be showing you how to re-import these models in Blender in just a bit. I'll close this. If the model has emission present, you can export the emission map as well by going into Settings, selecting the Export Emission Map option, and this time I'll export the model. I'll open the folder again, and if you see, I have the emission map as well. If I open the model this time, I can see the emission has been applied. If I switch to a darker lighting, you can see the emission really shows up. Well, here's a pro tip. In case I'm not liking the color of the glow that my model has, I can open the material view and edit this right here. And I can change the colors here. So I can change it to anything I want. Let's just go with a yellow. If I leave it plugged and export, Vox Cleaner V2 will automatically bake the new selected color emission into the emission map. If I press export now, the yellow emission map will be baked and exported. Let's just check it out. Amazing. Let's just re-import this model into Blender now. I'll open up fresh new Blender scene, go File, Import, OBJ. I'll locate the file. It's right here. Import. And if I go into the material view, the textures are blurred, but that's because they have not been configured yet. To do this, I'll simply go into the shading tab. I'll go into the material view again. I'll just make a little room. And on the image texture node, change the interpolation from linear to closest. Do the same in the other image texture node, and boom, the textures are done. You can even mess with the emission sliders here to change the emission strength. Here are some critical time-saving features that Vox Cleaner V2 Pro offers. Now, of course, if I have a ton of models in my scene, it'll be pretty tedious to select each of the models and clean all of them individually. But not with Vox Cleaner V2 Pro. As you can see, the geometry on all of these models is pretty cursed, and if I select all of these models, the clean model button changes into the batch clean button. With this, I can clean all of these models at once. I'll just select a nice emission color over here. I'll select this bright blue, and I'll press batch clean. Models cleaned, average 97.3% vortex reduction, and notice the geometry is awesome. I'll go into the material view to see the emission, and even the emission is on point and all the instances have glow applied to them. Amazing. Another feature that Vox Cleaner V2 Pro has is batch export. For this one, I'll make some more room. I'll create a new folder for batch exports. I'll select this as the destination folder, accept, and in the settings panel, I'll select the export emission map option, and I'll select all of these, and notice the export OBJ button has turned into the OBJs button, and this time I'll go with the FBX. So let's just select it, and FBX with all the textures are exported. I'll open the export folder, and yep, as I see, all the models are here. Even the emission is working. Amazing. Well, that's all for the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you face any issues, bugs, feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to reply as soon as possible. Nonetheless, super thrilled to see what you create using Vox Cleaner V2. Have fun and cheers.